So we've just got some really huge Paralives news that I wasn't really expecting, but I'm also not fully surprised that it's happened. Today, Paralives have released an official statement suggesting that their early access is now being pushed back to May 2026. Originally, Paralives Early Access was due to be December 2025. As of recording this video, Early Access was literally going to be 30 days away. It is now 6 months away, which is a really huge time hop. In their statement, the Paralives team have said, unfortunately, we had to make the difficult decision to delay the release. We are truly sorry for the last minute announcement. After thoughtful consideration, we feel it's best for the game and the community. This year, we ran many playtests with friends and fans, and we were confident that we could improve the game enough in time for December. In the lead up to early access release, we broadened our playtests with a more varied player base, and the latest feedback we received made us realize the game isn't up to the standard we wanted it to meet for release. Players enjoy the flexibility and the customization of the Paramaker and build mode. However, there are still impactful bugs in the live mode and a lack of activities to do in the town, which dampened the enjoyment of the players, and we feel it is necessary to work on these before delivering the product to the community. I actually didn't know they've already done playtests, and I'm just going to assume that when they did their family, friends and fans playtest, that included the super fans, the one that were playing like the ultra premium cost on their Patreon. And I think the problem with that is when you're testing with friends and fans, they're not going to be objective. They are going to be very positively biased because they're your friends and they're also super fans of the game. So that makes sense. Something that they said in their quote was that players enjoyed the flexibility and the customization of Paramaker and build mode. However, there are still impactful bugs in the live mode and a lack of activities to do in the town, which dampened the enjoyment of players. So basically, live mode sucked, but build mode and Paramaker mode were actually really fun. Now, I wonder if they should ever do a demo of Paramaker mode and release that to the public. Do you guys remember when Inzoi originally released the Crater Zoi mode to the public as a demo before they released the full game in early access? I'm really hoping that Paralives reconsider potentially releasing a demo version of the Paramaker mode at least, or maybe the build mode. Even if it's just for like 1 week, like wouldn't that just be really cool? I hope we're not totally in the dark until May 2026. And I just want to say honestly, one big suspicion I have had with Paralives throughout the whole entire thing is that they just haven't shown off live mode. In every single trailer that they've done, it's clearly a very orchestrated scene that they've done, and they haven't really shown us a day in the life. Even with Life by You, do you guys remember Life by You, the new life sim game by Paradox that eventually got cancelled? Even they did weekly videos where they actually just did full unedited gameplay videos of it, but Paralives haven't really released anything like that. They've released a lot of build mode videos, a lot of creator power videos, Paramaker videos, but they haven't really released any non-orchestrated, non-edited live mode videos, and I've always been a bit suspicious about it. I'm sure they reveal more stuff for their Patreon members, but I would just like to see a little bit more in public, especially considering now that it's being pushed back. I think in order to avoid any further controversy, it's really important that they do actually show us the state of live mode. I think transparency here is really important. I'm not saying that they have to put all their cards on the table and shame themselves. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying, show us a little bit more of the live mode that you are actually delaying. Show us why you're delaying it. Be honest, because Paralives has always relied on its honesty and transparency. That's why it's harnessed so many Patreon backers. So I hope they do that to the general public. They then went on to say, I started this project wanting it to be a fresh and indie take on the dollhouse life simulation genre, which had not been tackled by many developers. I attribute this partially to the fact that a project like Paralives is a colossal task. Life Sims are really 3 games in one: an advanced and flexible build mode, a greatly customizable character creator, and a complex life simulation mode. Over the last 6 years of development, starting with 2 to 3 developers for the first years to growing to an average team size of only 10 people, we had to alternate long stretches of development between these 3 parts of the game. We are so proud of what we have built, but now we just need a bit more time to polish the simulation part of the game. This would ensure Paralives offers a great first experience when it launches, making players come back for every exciting free update and expansion that we put out afterwards. I do think that's a very interesting point to make, and I think it's one of the main reasons why even major big developers haven't tackled The Sims. The fact that The Sims is the only major life simulation game out is absolutely insane. How the hell have EA just literally had the only one for over 25 years? It's pretty insane. So if major developers are not doing it, I can understand why an indie developer is also finding it hard. And I do agree they did spend a lot of time in build mode and creating, I keep calling it creator, para mode. It's Paramaker. They have spent so much time showing those things off, but not really live mode. So I do get the impression maybe they've been spending a little bit too much development time on build mode and Paramaker, because arguably they're probably the easier parts of development and live mode is the hardest. And it seems like they put live mode on the back line from an outside perspective. I don't know. That's just the vibe that I got. So I guess as a lesson learned for them, it's better they've at least learned now how to prioritize things better. So hopefully live mode will be getting like 90% of the priority going forward in terms of the early access release next year. They then went on to say the new early access release date is the 25th of May 26. We have updated our detailed roadmap with what we will be improving over the coming months, with a focus on fixing important issues and improving the first time user experience. This will ensure that more players will be happy with the state of the game at launch when comparing it to other great life simulation games that sparked everyone's love for the genre. That's a really interesting statement, and it sounds like based on that they were probably getting cold feet about player reactions. This is actually something that I said in a YouTube video a few weeks ago now, which I was really worried that Simmers just have way too high hopes for Paralives as the Sims killer, because Paralives is not going to kill the Sims. The Sims is killing itself, really. That's another story for another time. But fundamentally, we have to remember even The Sims 4, when that first released, back in those days, early access wasn't really a thing. So it didn't release in early access. It technically released at full release, but it essentially was an early access game when The Sims 4 first released, and it was pretty abysmal. In fact, it was absolutely terrible, really. So for Paralives, an indie game, to also release in a bad state in early access, that would make sense. I also think Inzoi may have played a part in their decision too, because if we look at all of the hype around Inzoi, that game was so overhyped when it initially released in early access, and I'm partially to blame because I was honestly so impressed with the gameplay demo that when I actually got early access to the game, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then I played it for about 30 minutes and I was a bit like, oh, what am I actually doing here? I don't know if I really enjoy this game and this experience because there's nothing really to do. And as a result, I haven't really been going back to Inzoi on this channel. I don't know if you've noticed, unless there is a major update, and that's just because it didn't give off the best first impressions, because player hype was up here, but the game was down here. To give you an opposite example, I've been playing Fields of Mystria, and I am actually reviewing the game, and I have a video scheduled to upload in a couple of days where I give you my review of Fields of Mystria. And this game is in early access, but it actually feels like a fully fleshed out game. It doesn't feel like you're playing an early access experience. It's totally bug free. All of the major gameplay elements are there, including a gameplay loop, meaning that you'll come back to the game, and it's the kind of experience that you can play over and over and over again despite being an early access release. Inzoi, on the other hand, for example, I played it for a few hours and then I thought I don't really want to touch this anymore. And I think Paralives are just scared of that experience with players. They don't want players to pick it up, think, oh God, this is really bare bones, and then just never touch it and give it a second chance, because I feel like a lot of people didn't give Inzoi a second chance, unfortunately. And I think Paralives don't want that for themselves, and that's totally fair enough. In fact, I'm pretty confident that Paralives were really scared because they actually uploaded this video last week, actually, basically giving commentary saying, hey, Paralives Early Access is going to release with a myriad of bugs and glitches. You will experience crashes. The town isn't fully fleshed out. And it feels like PR, this video. It definitely feels like damage control. I get the impression that maybe they were worried that expectations were too high, hence why they uploaded this video. I don't know if you guys saw it, but in the original audio, they were basically saying the game is really, really underdeveloped, and they were basically suggesting that people needed to lower their expectations. So you can definitely tell based on what they've done so far that they were scared for sure that player expectations were too high. I just want to say also, a lot of people have been saying Paralives must be a scam. Like, I don't think it's a scam. These people look so woke and like obnoxiously happy. I don't think these kinds of people would be scamming you. I just can't really imagine it happening. Vivaland, on the other hand, that's a whole different kettle of fish to fry. And I will be talking about that one in a video essay at some point, don't you worry. Paralives have also released the next part of a statement on Tuesday, 25th of November at noon EDT. We will stream 45 minutes of uninterrupted live mode gameplay on our YouTube channel to show the current state of the game, the various gameplay features, and explain what we will be improving before launch. We plan on keeping you all updated with streams and videos leading up to the new release date. We remain fully committed to making a quality and innovative game with the support of the community and to updating it for years to come after release. We are beyond grateful for your continuous support, and it means the world to our small team of passionate developers, Alex and the Paralives team. So there was me saying earlier, like being a proper bitch, like they need to release gameplay footage, rah, rah, rah. That's my fault, okay, for not actually reading the full thing before reacting in this video, but then it wouldn't have been a genuine reaction video. Okay, so that's really cool. That's made me happy that they're releasing the gameplay video. This will be on the 25th of November, guys, in 11 days. I'm actually really excited to see this. It's going to be 14 minutes of fun. I'm really excited. Maybe we should live stream it. I think that's going to be the really important thing going forward here with the next steps of Paralives, making sure that they keep the general player base outside of their Patreon backers very, very aware of what the live mode is. I also just want to say, like, positively based on this, even though it's not obviously positive news from the offset, I really do get the impression that Paralives is being built to simply just be a fun game. I get the same vibe of Paralives as I do with games, you know, like Stardew Valley or something, even the initial development of Minecraft before it was brought out by Microsoft. Like, I'm just getting a vibe off Paralives that they truly just want to create a fun game. And it just feels like making money is kind of like on the sidelines of this, which just makes me feel really positive about it. I truly hate the state of the cozy game market. I think it's become so cash grabby, and Paralives just feels like a breath of fresh air. I really do just have so many positive things to say about the game, even though I haven't played it myself and seen it before release. I'm very excited for the early access gameplay video that they're doing, even though we're not actually playing it ourselves. And I do also hope that one day we will be able to get access to Paramaker mode and potentially build mode 2 in just like a simple demo, just so that we can actually see what's going on, because according to them, players are really happy with those things. So that would be fun to see. I would like to take a look at the community reaction to this on their Twitter. Not upset because this is clear communication. You want the game in the best state before giving it to fans. Oh, this person said, if I may make a suggestion, wouldn't a demo of Paramaker be possible? We've given releasing a demo some serious thought and it's not planned for now, as it would mean taking a lot of time away from working on the early access release. Well, that's fair enough. I can understand that. As I've said before, the lack of gameplay videos and live streams was odd, so I'm glad we're getting one soon. We're excited to collect all the community's feedback from the 25th live stream, and we plan on having more frequent public live streams in the following months. Thank you so much for your support. Somebody said, while I understand the delay, isn't that kind of the point of early access, to let your fans get their hands on it and play it with it and break it so that you can fix it faster? I would 100% be understanding if this was a full release, but early access is meant to be broken and lanky to a degree. I 100% agree, and on paper that's what early access should be, but unfortunately these days, because every everybody is doing early access, including the major developers. The concept of early access is just so skewed that nobody understands what it is, because it's essentially just a catch-all to say, we're using you as paid guinea pigs, we're using you as paid game testers, and depending on if enough people will pay for early access depends on if we bother finishing it. And there are so many unfinished early access games released by major developers. So I think the whole early access concept is a mess, and I definitely think Paralives have made the right decision, because although yes, that is the point of early access, I feel like the definition of early access has changed, unfortunately, over the last couple of years. And what I think this person is referring to, which is what Paralives did before, was when they first tested it with family and friends, and then they tested it with a wider player base and then a wider player base again before going into early access. So I understand it. Somebody said we're going to get GTA 6 before Paralives. Honestly, most people seem to be nice. I don't know if that's Twitter filtering the comments. Delaying the release was a brave and thoughtful decision. Quality takes time, and we fully support you taking it to deliver the best version of Paralives. Your passion and transparency means a lot. We believe in you. Keep going. That's a very lovely statement, and I think most of us can agree. So Paralives have updated their website. This is their development progress. I don't know if anything here is different. I can't tell if they've changed any of these, but looking at the full development roadmap that they've done, again, oh gosh, this is like really unintuitive for me to see. I can't tell if anything's different. It says 67 things done, 6 things in progress, 15 before the release. Adding more interactions to do on public lots around the town, improve shops and what they sell, and more activities to do around the town every day. Create a tutorial for life goals, create tutorial, blah, blah, blah. I do think it is important, by the way, that Paralives do tutorials for early access release so people get the game, because it will be different than The Sims. Another thing that I'd like to say, I don't know if Paralives have considered this or not, but the biggest issue that people have with The Sims is that it simply doesn't have a gameplay loop. I often see comments talking about The Sims, and it's like, I don't know if you guys have seen those memes where it's like the thought of playing The Sims, but actually playing The Sims. And I think the reason why is because people just don't get the gameplay loop. They turn on the game, they get bored in 5 minutes because they literally don't know what to do. I really hope that Paralives for early access release genuinely develops some kind of gameplay loop. If you think about other sandbox games, even like Animal Crossing, there's always something to be doing, always something to be working towards. In a game like Stardew Valley or Fields of Mystria, which I've been playing, I found that there's a lot of gameplay loops. One day you can do this, another day you can do that. I just feel like having always something to do is really important, and I hope that Paralives has that gameplay loop when the game releases, so people actually know what they're doing with it. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Subscribe so you don't miss another one, especially when I go over the early access live gameplay footage that they'll be showing off. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one.